This episode of the Media Leader podcast was edited by our production partner, Trisonic. And if you're looking for podcast production support, we highly recommend them. Find them at trisonic.co.uk.
I think they come thinking that this is going to be a place they can earn and grow. And what they find that keeps them is a community.
Welcome to the Media Leader podcast. I'm Jack Benjamin. Is YouTube TV? It's a question that pretty much everyone in this industry has an opinion on. YouTube surely would benefit from receiving TV budgets from advertisers. And after all, more people are watching YouTube on TV sets. At the same time, YouTube isn't exactly leaning into TV measurement standards. It's been a back and forth here in the UK with TV measurement company Barb. Most recently, YouTube sent it a cease and desist letter over Barb's effort to measure TV set viewing of specific subsets of YouTube channels. Before the measurement initiative was shut down, it had revealed that much of YouTube viewing on TV sets was clearly being done by very small children, with viewership in the UK relatively light and limited to shows like Peppa Pig and Bluey. Of course, whether YouTube should be considered TV is just one question for the platform, which has been wrapped up in social media bans for under 16s and has been found by a US jury to have designed its platform to be harmfully addictive. For brands, though, one of the biggest challenges they have with their YouTube strategy is managing its fragmented nature. There's long form, there's TV set viewing, there's shorts, and there are creators working across it all, many of whom marketers may have no idea who they even are, even as they're microcelebrities within their own communities. Kim Larson is the global managing director and head of YouTube creators. I sat down with her in Cannes last month to discuss the platform, how it works with creators, and how the latest news of bans and concerns around measurement might impact the business. This is our conversation. I hope you enjoy.
Hi, Jack. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Kim. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. We're speaking in Cannes. We're on Thursday. We're trudging through the very busy week. How's Cannes been so far for you?
It's been excellent. It's been always busy, but every year creators become a bigger and bigger part of the story. And I feel like we've hit like apex. So it's been awesome.
In terms of key takeaways, yes, more creators. I feel like I see it every year on the Croisette.
Yeah.
What else have you sort of taken away from either your work with meeting clients or just walking around and seeing new things this year?
I think there used to be a novelty to creators, and now it's a part of the marketing equation. It feels much more like it's got its rightful place. And so I don't really explain, what are creators and why to partner with them. I don't have those conversations anymore. The conversations I have are more around how to partner with them, how to find the right creator, how to make them part of your marketing mix. So it's like, there's definitely a maturation.
Gotcha. More part of the furniture now.
Yes, definitely part of the furniture.
The big news in the weeks leading up to Cannes, at least in the UK, was the announcement of a social media ban for under 16-year-olds. Now, I wanted to get your view on it, obviously from a global position, because it's not just the UK that sort of launched this. What was your reaction, I guess, generally to that news coming down from a variety of markets now?
I think responsibility is a core part of who we are, and we've always had tools to protect, kids, teens online. And so I think we're just taking in the regulation and obviously, excited to figure out how we work within the rules.
In terms of the impact on creators, there's a lot of young creators online, whether they're below the age 16 or 16 to 18. Yeah. There's certainly kidfluencers. There's also a thing with sometimes parental supervision. Do you expect there to be an impact in terms of the types of creators that come to not just YouTube, but any of the sort of social platform?
I think if people are excited to be a creator, they're going to find a way to be a creator. And yeah, as a mom of two teenage daughters, I definitely see creating as a part of their social fabric. And, it's the way they communicate with each other. They're way more forthright about sharing. And so I don't see it slowing them down.
The other quick bit of news that I wanted to ask you about from a bit earlier in the year was that YouTube was found by a trial in California to have been harmfully designed to be addictive. That's sort of partially what's animating, I think, some of the policy changes. I'm curious again for your reaction to that and steps that YouTube might be taking to change its design to not be harmfully addictive.
Yeah.
I know. I should say I understand that Google's appealing that role.
Yes, Google is appealing that. Unfortunately, I'm not informed enough to be able to have a position on it.
Okay. In terms of the big questions around YouTube more generally, the question I think that gets asked more often than almost any other as it pertains to YouTube, at least in the UK, is whether or not it's TV. Is YouTube TV? I know you work a lot with creators,
Yeah.
user-generated content.
Yeah.
What's your view on the question? Is YouTube TV?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have over 1 billion hours of content consumed every single day on connected TVs. And so that, and I think we all benefited from, one thing that came out of COVID is everybody upgraded to 4K TVs. And you saw that familial experience come back of, co-viewing in the living room. And so I think YouTube has benefited tremendously from that. And it's our fastest growing, we call them surfaces. Mm-hmm. It's our fastest growing surface. And particularly from a creator perspective, you see that long form, like creators are creating longer and longer content because they're seeing their fans, like retention is growing, and they're seeing their fans want to watch even more and more of it in the living room. Another thing is actually shorts are really popular
on TV
sets as well, which is, not necessarily intuitive, but it's fun to sit around with your friends and, scroll through shorts, and it becomes more of like a community watching experience.
If YouTube is like TV, do you think YouTube should be, wouldn't it follow, I guess, that YouTube would be held to the same sort of measurement standards as TV companies?
Tell me where you think we're not held to the same measurement standards.
At least in the UK, there's a joint industry currency, and I know this also exists here in France at Médiamétrie, that YouTube has sort of been in and out of, and at the moment at least has not had they're not in.
Okay.
So in terms of the viewing standard for what counts as a view, let's say, there might be some disagreement. How do you view that conversation with, measurement standards like Nielsen say in the US?
Well, I think we're always, there's always been a debate about what constitutes a view. Yeah. And I think we're trying to get to an industry standard because it should be a common language that agencies can use, advertisers can use, creators can use. So I think we're all looking for that, for that commonality. Looking for
conversation.
Yep.
Okay. So I definitely want to ask lots of questions about creators. At least anecdotally, it feels like there's been a re-embrace of YouTube lots of different platforms shoot up. TikTok becomes big during the pandemic. You end up with short form video more so. It seems like a lot of creators are returning to YouTube. When you think about and talk to creators about getting them onto the platform and staying on the platform, what's that on-ramp look like?
So many creators come to YouTube because if you want to earn a living, if you want to do this as a full-time job, we are the absolute best when it comes to monetization. Our rev share model really set the standard for the industry of this is how you pay creators, and we give them 55% of revenue. So that alone is really, really attractive if you are looking to make a living at this. We actually have 10 different ways you can monetize. There's memberships you can have, there's chats and stickers and different ways that your fans can fund you. So I think they come thinking that this is going to be a place they can earn and grow, and what they find that keeps them is a community. So what makes YouTube really sticky and so compelling for creators is they build this fandom. And the ones who are most successful, they learn how to interact with their fans, and they learn how to really nurture that community. It's not just a source of community and fandom, but it's also where they get so many insights. I think it's what helps keep them fresh. They get ideas They get commentary of like, did you like this? Did you not like this? Should I do more of that? And like, that's really, really insightful. It's like having a focus group at your fingertips. And again, like the ones who are really good, they listen to that.
I think I know that from talking to brands that some struggle in terms of knowing which creators to partner with.
Yeah.
And I know YouTube has been doing a lot of work to try and bridge that gap a little bit. I'm sure you've been talking about it with people here at Cannes. Can you talk to me a little bit about the innovations you've made to make it easier for brands to identify the right creators? Because there's so many of them on the platform.
So we launched something for advertisers called, it's Creator Partnerships. It's a hub. And it's got discovery in it. So you can search, you put in audience or different kinds of criteria that you're looking for. It allows you to profile them. You're also able to go out and see which creators are already talking about your brand. So, creators talk about a lot of things, and they may talk about their favorite soft drink or this new makeup or their car they bought or something. And so there's a lot of organic brand content in there. So we also have a tool where you can actually find all the mentions of your brand out there and then decide if you want to boost it. So put some media behind it.
That's really interesting. Another, I think, question that brands raise a lot is an issue of trust and working with creators and trusting the right creators. The Advertising Standards Authority in the UK last year released a study that found that over 2/5 of creators, this is not just across YouTube, this is across the entire sort of creator economy, don't disclose ads, or at least don't disclose them properly. How do you work with creators to make sure that as the industry professionalizes, that those standards are being raised in that?
Yes. So you have to disclose. I mean, that is like you have to disclose a paid promotion. We're very, very clear about that. And there are some of our tools, like things where you can embed a link in, they won't work if you don't properly disclose.
So it's building some of that into the platform
Absolutely. To ensure that the standards are met.
Gotcha. And would you like to see that across the entire sort of creator space? Do you think like there needs to be some level of collaboration, I suppose, between the different platforms to get there?
I think so. I think everybody is incentivized for ads to get better, and measurement will get better when they're all disclosed. So I think everybody's rowing in the same direction on this one.
Okay. Something that I find really interesting about YouTube is that over the years, we talk a lot about media fragmentation, but YouTube itself is kind of fragmented because you have shorts, you have long form, you have really long form.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched documentaries on YouTube.
Yeah.
Some of it's watched on a TV set, as we already talked about.
Yeah.
For advertisers, I think that presents an interesting challenge of how they get a singular view of all the different types of video within YouTube alone, let alone TV or AV more generally.
Yeah.
Those are very different attentional viewing experiences. What do you, when you're speaking with clients or on the brand side, what do you advise them when just all your creators are creating so many different types of content?
Right. So for an advertiser, what you want to buy is you want to buy objectives and you want to buy audience. So if you, using our tools, if you say, I want to reach this audience at scale, it's going to help you. It's going to place you in the right place, whether that be short form, long form, podcast, all the different formats. Because, as an advertiser, it would be really challenging, to find it yourself. So, actually, our systems do it for you.
Gotcha. Just so I understand a little bit more about the systems, does it uprank because short form videos might get less time attentionally than in terms of the amount of watch time, say?
Yeah.
Does that mean that they should be invested, it would require more short form videos to get the same outcomes as a longer form video? I don't know, I'm not a planner.
Yeah. So when you're an advertiser, you have to be clear on the goals and the outcomes you're trying to drive. Depending upon those goals, agnostic around the format.
Right.
Because different formats, it may take a higher level of frequency to reach this audience versus that audience. And that can be achieved through short form or through long form. So be clear exactly on who you're trying to reach, and then let the systems drive towards that goal.
So sort of working backwards from
Yes.
the goal.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Something that I find really interesting, obviously there's loads of UGC content, and you work with creators that are increasingly professionalizing, but also the broadcasters globally increasingly want to be on YouTube too. Do you have any relations with broadcasters in your role, or how do you view, I suppose, the dichotomy between classic traditional TV coming onto YouTube as well as a rising professionalization within the creator economy?
Yeah. So we want to be a home for all content. I do not, there's a whole dedicated media co team that works with broadcasters like the BBC here in London, where you're from. And I think we want to be a destination where people can watch what they want to watch when they want to watch it. And that means being a home for all types of content. It's interesting to hear you talk about the professionalization of creators, because that's what we're seeing so much. They've really become their own modern media coast. So where I thought you were going with this is creators as broadcasters, because they have studios, they have production teams, they have writers' rooms, and they have teams that really, I don't think people appreciate just how professional and sophisticated those teams are.
Do you think there's still a learning curve for advertisers to know that? Because you need fewer tools perhaps to have a high level production today than you did 5-10 years ago, certainly 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You still think that brands haven't necessarily caught on to that yet?
Well, the tools are definitely getting better. Tools are definitely getting better. I think creators' ambitions are getting bigger though too. As you said, there are wanting to do more sophisticated storylines and more sophisticated shoots and longer form stories. We're seeing scripted content from creators. Like that's a whole other...
It's turning into movies now.
Right. That's a whole other type of writing, shooting, editing, delivering. And so I do think some advertisers, are surprised, but one thing we do often is we take people to their studios. We will do studio tours with advertisers, taking them to creators, and the light bulbs go on like immediately. They get it, they see the space, and they say, "Wow, now I understand the quality and the caliber of what's getting built here."
Looking into the near-term future, what's your hope for creators over the next 6 to 12 months? What would you like to see from the wider industry? My
whole goal is for creators to make YouTube their home base. And so I think continuing to test and learn, continuing to think of us as a place where they can build their most ambitious projects, and a place for them to expand their creativity. Like the tools are getting, even more turnkey. There's efficiencies that we're finding, and it's enabling them to, produce more at scale at a more efficient cost. And that's really, really exciting.
Okay. Well, Kim, thanks so much. This has been a
Thank
total
you.
pleasure speaking.
Thank you so much, Jack. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Media Leader Podcast. Our executive producer is me, Jack Benjamin. Special thanks to our production partner, TriSonic. You can find all our episodes on the podcast platform of your choice or on our website at uk.themedialeader.com. But do please remember to subscribe to be notified of our next episode. You can also subscribe to our newsletter at The Media Leader to receive daily coverage of all the biggest news stories in media and advertising. From all of us at The Media Leader, I'm Jack Benjamin. See you next time.